My name is Jimmy, and I'm scared when I think of WWE booking. How about you, Frank?
It's terrifying.
Man, Frank, I could fucking talk to you about anything and enjoy myself.
You know what's scary is because it's the way they insult the intelligence of feds.
Then you'll get people to say, "Oh, they've been insulting your intelligence since you started watching."
No, I mean, I remember Vince a few years ago. He said, "Oh, we're not going to insult the fans' intelligence," but he keeps doing it over and over again because, jeez, I mean, come on.
You know why he said that then? Because he had a gun to his head.
He was close to going out of business.
He had a gun to his head called WCW, and he had to listen to his audience. But now that they're not around anymore, he says, "Fuck the fans." That's why I say we're in the fuck the fans era, Frank. And if you bring it up to anyone, you get labeled a mark or a smark or a IWC crybaby, blah, blah, blah. There are more WWE apologists these days than apologists for the U.S. government. It's sickening.
I don't want to get too serious, but it's a reflection on society.
It is a reflection on society because they don't want to think for themselves. They want to have other people in nice, fine suits think for them rather than thinking for themselves. I find it pathetic.
Do as you're told.
Do as you're told. Don't think for yourself. And if you say anything that isn't status quo, you get labeled and ostracized. Well, to anyone that thinks that way, I know Frank is probably doing it in his head. I'm flipping off the camera. Fuck you if you think that way.
Yeah,
I encourage people this. I encourage this. If you truly believe Daniel Bryan sucks, don't let me change your opinion. If you truly believe John Cena is the greatest champion you've ever seen, don't let me change your opinion. If that's what you truly believe, and you believe that in here, good for you. If you're happy that Dolph Ziggler has been getting treated like a nothing less than a jobber lately because you honestly can't stand him, good for you. If you're happy Roman Reigns is getting the main event spot long before he's even close to being ready, good for you. But don't fucking come to me. Come on my Facebook, come on my YouTube channel, or in a few months come on my podcast and fucking tell me how to think. Because then that just makes you an asshole. And I'm not dealing with assholes anymore. Fuck the asshole.
The problem is the manipulation, the blatant manipulation. And
What bothers me is that there's grown-ass men, Frank, who are so easily manipulated. They can't see the forest for the trees. They can't see when they're getting fucked with. They can't see when they're little. When they can't see Vince McMahon actually, hang on, 1 second, picking up a hammer. I actually have a hammer in my hand, cracking their fucking heads open, opening their heads up, and fucking with all their brains, and modeling them how he wants them to be. Vince McMahon has said this, and I'm looking for the quote online. The fans don't tell me what they want. I tell the fans what they want. Why the fuck would you trust a man like that is beyond me. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him across the street. Would you buy a used car from Vince?
No. Vince is a businessman. He is a genius in that way.
He just lost touch.
But I think his creative genius.
I think it's run its course, personally.
What's that again?
I think it's run its course.
I think it's overrated. I mean, of course, he has come up with great things, but...
Oh, absolutely. I'll never take anything away from what Vince has accomplished. I'm just saying that right now, in 2015, the motherfucker ain't got it no more.
Right, I'm saying, like, the characters that he did make, you also have to give credit to the performer, you know?
No, of course. I mean, he may have come up with the Undertaker character, but Mark Calloway's the one that fucking did it. He may have come up with the Kane character, but Glenn Jacobs is the one that fucking did it. And honestly, and Vince stole a lot of good ideas. Like, let's be honest, the Hulkamania thing that we all enjoy, that started in the AWA. Let's be honest here.
Yes, but I'm just saying, I used to think he was this creative genius. He turns out stars. No, for the more I learn about things, almost like every guy, the original idea, it's like, oh my god, like it's like Mankind. He was supposed to be
the Mutilator, Earman.
Yeah.
They wanted to call Steve Austin Baron Von Ruthless, Fang McFrost. Oh my god. I mean, gee. And you want to know what's funny? Stone Cold came up with his name, or his wife came up with his name. If any of these fucking guys came into WWE right now and wanted to come up with their own name, Vince would laugh at them and tell them to go home.
Yeah, well, I mean...
And when Rocky Maivia was being changed into The Rock, Jim Ross didn't tell him. He asked him, how about changing your name just to The Rock? And you know what Dwayne's response was? I love it.
Right.
Because when you're playing yourself, it's easier. It's easier playing yourself than it is playing something inauthentic. But that goes with any character portrayal. You know, it's scary to think, but The Undertaker is just really an extension of who Mark Calloway is.
Right, he's a badass.
He's a badass motherfucker who's got a taste for the darkness. And if I ever meet him, I will shake his damn hand, cry my eyes out, and tell him, I love you to death. You're my hero. You have been since I was 3. I don't care if I get made fun of. I love The Undertaker. I love him. He's my hero. He's the guy I looked up to as a kid. You know, because his character to me was taking more punishment than anyone else can dish out. And anyone that knows me knows that I've taken my fair share of punishment, not from my family, because I have a wonderful family, but I've taken my fair share of punishment from several different things. I keep on ticking. I don't change who I am, because ain't no motherfucker going to change who I am or what I do.
Well, yeah, see, these are certain things that connect with the audience.
Exactly. Why do you think I connect so easily with Daniel Bryan? I've had plenty of people tell me, not plenty, because I don't have that many detractors, but I've had several people tell me, you know, some of your friends can't stand you. That's what I've been told, Frank.
Yeah, we've both been there.
I've been told that I need to change, I need to stop being myself. You know, my response is, fuck you. I'm gonna be James Faluca till the day I go into the coffin.
That's right.
And I will always be James Faluca. I will always be who I am. I'm not going to tone myself down for your liking. The way I look at it is this. You see these 4 walls in my room? You don't have to be in here. There is no, lock on my door that you can't unlock yourself. You don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. Frank chooses to be my friend because he accepts me for who I am and doesn't want me to be something I'm not. I have another friend that you have to meet if you haven't met him already, Frank. His name is Larry, and I'm giving him a shout out on the show.
I met him. I met Larry.
He's a damn fucking good guy. Goes to bat for me because he's a damn good friend. Instead of cutting me down to size, he treats me like a friend, and he tells me, James, listen, if that's what you fucking think, if you think someone's being mistreated, if you think someone's being force-fed, that's your fucking opinion. Don't let anyone change it. Those are the people I respect the most. Not just as a fan of this stuff, but as a friend in life. If I think that the New York Islanders are the best fucking team in hockey, ain't no one going to tell me different. I can care less if the Rangers are in first place right now. I don't give a fuck. I've never played baseball once in my life. I know enough to know the Mets organization sucks. And if I could get them new ownership, I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't have to be a fucking basketball major to know the New York Knicks suck. They absolutely suck. They wouldn't know a fucking championship from a hole in the ground right now. Because they've won championships before. Believe it or not, viewers, the New York Knicks have won basketball championships before. Not in this lifetime, Daddy. That's my Harvey Whippleman impression.
Yeah, 50 years ago they won.
Yeah, fucking really. Like the New York Jet fans, they fucking ramble more than Yankee fans do. But at least the Yankee fans have something to brag about. Fucking New York Jets, it's not 1969. Joe Namath ain't here. Your team sucks. And your fan base has zip to brag about. I'm a Mets fan, Frank. I don't brag about my fucking Mets because I ain't got nothing to brag about because they suck.
Yes, they do. But,
They do. I'm glad we can agree that the Mets suck. But the point I'm trying...
Let's get back to we were talking about the Hall of Fame.
Yes. Back to my original point. I appreciate the friendships that I do have. I appreciate the people that look at me for what I am and don't want me to be different. Yourself included, Frank. I look forward to these shows. I look forward to doing this. And I'm looking forward to when we transform into podcast style, where other people can enjoy our shows even more at the push of a button on Talk the Talk. But the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame really isn't shaping out to be anything special, to me, other than Macho Man. And I think it's very underwhelming, this Hall of Fame. Rikishi, the fucking Bushwhackers, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alundra Blaze. I mean, the fucking celebrity wing. I could think of 2 or 3 names that belong in there long before Arnold Schwarzenegger. How about Billy Martin? How about Muhammad Ali? Fucking really? He was
He's in the Hall of Fame?
No!
Well, he was only there for, he was only there, they were only there once. Oh, actually, Muhammad Ali,
he did several stints with the WWF. You know how many times he was in there with fucking Gorilla Monsoon? The WrestleMania 1 wasn't his only thing, but at WrestleMania 1, he got a fucking amazing ovation. At that point, he was still considered, by those who loved boxing as the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. To me, he is. There are some people who think Lennox Lewis was the greatest. There are some people who think that Mike Tyson was the greatest. I personally think that if Mike Tyson fought Muhammad Ali in his prime, he'd be eating his meals through a tube.
Mike Tyson admitted that.
I don't think Mike Tyson ever had to fight a division that Ali had to fight. Ali had to fight Norton. He had to fight Frazier. He had to fight Foreman. Who the fuck did Ali have to fight at that level? Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. That's it. Those are the only names that come to my mind. And that's why I gave up on boxing. I'm looking forward to the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, and I hope Pacquiao knocks him on his ass. That's what I hope for. I don't know who you're pulling for in that fight. Sorry to get off topic, but I think that I hope Pacquiao wins.
I really don't care for either one.
I don't blame you. But yeah, the Hall of Fame to me is very underwhelming. Because to me, the class sucks. Other than the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I think it's a very big disservice to Macho Man. I mean, there were plenty of guys they could have inducted. I would induct Kevin Nash as Kevin Nash, but I think they're saving that for the NWO induction, because the NWO is, whether anyone wants to fucking admit it or not, they were a bigger faction than DX in terms of impact, in terms of, major names being in a group, and as far as setting the tone for what a group is supposed to be, which is a fucking juggernaut. I would have inducted Diamond Dallas Page, just based on the fucking shit that he did for Jake Roberts and Scott Hall, let alone his WCW career. His WCW career.
I think he deserves it.
His WCW career speaks for itself. I would have inducted Stan Hansen, Stan the Lariat Hansen, because he's a major fucking star, major star. For next year, I'll tell you right now who I would induct immediately. It would be a Texas-size Hall of Fame next year. Mark Henry, the Fabulous Freebirds, Bruiser Brody, Sting,
Yeah, I agree with
and The
Undertaker.
Undertaker.
You can't have so many people every year, they got to spread it out a little.
No, I understand that, but let me see. You have how many inductions? The Freebirds, Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, Undertaker, Sting. That's 5. And if you want to throw a woman in there, you induct Jacqueline, because she's from Texas. She's from Silby, Texas. Jacqueline's worthy of the Hall of Fame. She's been the WWE Women's Champion a few times.
Yeah, I think she could go in one day. Yeah,
So,
I don't know why they put in Medusa.
Yeah, I really don't care much for London Blaze. I mean,
that's what she did.
They inducted Sunny, who never won a title belt in her life. So I don't mind them putting a London Blaze in. I don't mind it at all.
But what she did when she got on WCW,
That's all for a guy. That's all water under the bridge. WCW's dead, so it doesn't matter. Eventually, whether anyone likes it or not, fucking Eric Bischoff should go in. Paul Heyman.
Oh, they will.
But yeah, the Hall of Fame for me this year just really isn't all that exciting. The only one I'm looking forward to is Macho Man. Unfortunately, Macho Man is no longer with us, so we will not get to hear his induction speech, which really pisses me off. That's just a great example of waiting too fucking long. I hope they don't make that. I hope they don't make that mistake with The Undertaker. I hope they don't make that same mistake with Sting. I hope they don't make that same mistake with a lot of names.
Now, at least we should be thankful that Macho Man is
Yeah. To me, I don't know about you, but Macho Man is the one that got me into wrestling. I watched wrestling for the first time when my dad put on a tape, which was WrestleMania 3. So think about this. The very first match I ever saw was Macho Man and Steamboat. You know how special that fucking is? The very first wrestling match I ever saw in my life was those two. No wonder my fucking standards are so high. I should blame my dad for showing me good wrestling.
No, but let me tell you, Macho was great. Every match he ever had, he was just awesome.
Frank, you sound like you're a little far away from the phone. Are you close to it?
Oh, no, I said that every match since the time he debuted, he was great. His character was awesome. Him bringing in Elizabeth, that was awesome. He was a great heel, but you hated him, but you had to respect him.
You had to respect him because of his athleticism and what he can do in that ring. And I don't know about you, what your favorite feud with the Macho Man Randy Savage is. Personally, with me, it's kind of like a three-way tie because I love Macho Man's feud with Jake the Snake Roberts. I felt that was a fucking amazing feud. I loved Macho Man's feud in WCW with Diamond Dallas Page. That was another one.
Yeah.
That was fucking incredible. But to me, Macho Man's greatest rival is Ric Flair.
You think so?
Absolutely. Just based on...
I would have to say Hogan.
My problem with that is that Macho never once beat Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I know, but...
to me, a great feud is balanced. There has to be balance. There was no balance in that feud.
Understand, at that time, Hogan was just... He was another level. He was...
To me, Hulk Hogan could never be what Macho Man was, which Macho Man was the total package. Hogan was an entertainer and a ticket seller. Macho Man was an entertainer and an athlete.
Yeah, well, I love watching their matches until this day. They always had great matches.
Hey, listen. Anyone that enjoyed the Macho Man Hulk Hogan feud, I say this. Enjoy looking back on it. I enjoy looking back on Savage and Flair from WrestleMania 8. Because that match, to me, was just... WrestleMania 3 was the perfect example of Macho Man being able to wrestle as a heel. He would have plenty of other matches as a heel that would show his skill. But WrestleMania 8 showed perfect example of Macho Man just being an enraged babyface who wanted nothing less than to sever Ric Flair's fucking heart from his body. And let me tell you something. That match with Ric Flair was fucking awesome. It made Hogan and Sid look like they were standing still.
Yeah, and who could forget the promos with Ric Flair with the pictures of Elizabeth?
Man, you want to talk about great storytelling? Holy shit. I just got a piece of you, Ric Flair. Yeah, you can have all of me next time, you dig? I love Macho Man. That was a terrible Macho impression. I can't help it. I love Randy Poffo. Long live the Macho Man's legend. But we got 12 minutes left, Frank, and you and I were talking before we got on camera about possibilities for, WrestleMania 32 is going to be in the AT&T Stadium. They're going to need 100. They're going to try to get 100,000 people in that place. What matches do you possibly see on that card that could help bring that 100,000 in? Because I am not of the mindset of, they'll come no matter what. No, if you want 100,000 people, you got to throw down. You got to actually fucking put some effort into your card.
I mean, listen, right now I'm a little tired. I couldn't really even speculate. Who knows what's going to happen from now until next year? But, at least one match should be Undertaker and Sting.
I think that whether The Undertaker wins or loses this year, the match could still happen. Personally, I think that the story would work better if he lost. Because Bray Wyatt's basically calling The Undertaker out saying that he's lost a step. What if Bray Wyatt's right? What if he has lost a step? And what if The Undertaker realizes that? He wants to retire. But after Sting beats Triple H, there ain't nothing standing in his fucking way. He can turn around and say, no, no, no. Undertaker, I didn't come all this way and fight through all these roadblocks just for you to fucking retire. Not necessarily in those words. But I think Undertaker versus Sting would be a fantastic attraction for WrestleMania 32. For the simple fact, it's a dream match. It's Taker's hometown. But to me, and I don't know if you agree or not, the only way this match works is if they announce in advance it's both men's last match.
Well, I think a lot of that will have to do on how good the Triple H Sting match turned out.
What I'm saying is that if they're going to do this match with Taker and Sting next year, it has to be promoted as the finale for both men.
Oh, no, I agree, but I'm saying if something happens like where the Sting Triple H match this year, bombs and Sting looks like he doesn't have it, then it, But if
I think that by both matches, Taker and Wyatt and Sting and Triple H will be good. I think it'll be enough to get us to WrestleMania 32, because I don't think you need for those two, Taker and Sting, to wrestle other than that match. But I say that if you're not going to do this dream match, Undertaker has to go out a winner. He can't go out.
Yeah.
He cannot.
I'm rooting for those two matches you just mentioned, because if Sting has a good match, we're gonna see more of him.
Oh, absolutely. There ain't no way this is just a one-and-done deal with Sting. Especially not with all the fanfare he's coming with, not with the fucking video game, the Mattel doll, the T-shirts, the DVDs. Fucking, Sting came to WWE, in my mind, with one goal. Undertaker. That's what he came to WWE for, in my opinion. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's part of his contract that he gets at least one match with The Undertaker. I think that would be... if they go about it this way, to where Taker loses, Sting wins, Taker comes out at the very end of Raw after WrestleMania and says, listen, I tried my best. I no longer have what I used to. I don't have it anymore. I lost it. He doesn't even have to have that gruff sound to his voice. He could just talk like he would talk in a regular interview and say, listen, guys, I've done my best to entertain you these last 20-something years. I don't have it anymore. I have nothing left. It's time for me to go to the dark side and never come back. I should have stayed gone. And as he's midway through those ropes, Sting shows up, demands the match. The second those two go face-to-face, do you know the pop that's going to come out of that building?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. And I can tell you right now, Frank, this will be another example that if those two ever go face-to-face, you will see your friend Jimmy cry. I will literally bawl like a baby because I've wanted this match since I'm 7. It would be, to me, it would go down as one of the biggest attractions WWE has ever had. Because you have to promote it. It's the last time you're going to see Sting. It's the last time you're going to see The Undertaker. And I'm not saying that they will sell WrestleMania solely on that, but what I am saying, you promote that in advance, that it's the swan song for both men, and they're both going in the Hall of Fame, people will turn out to say goodbye to both those men. I think that Undertaker, at the very least, is a big enough name to where people will respect him at the end of his career.
Listen, Jim, we'll wrap it up, but I think if all the stars align, I think that'll be an all-time classic wrestling history moment.
That match happens. Let me tell you something. That moment, Frank, it'll be like when Andre tore the shirt off Hogan, when Rock and Hogan stood face to face, when Rock and Cena went face to face. It'll be something like that. Something you'll never see again, because they're both, to me, I don't know where you stand. I say they're both once in a lifetime performers.
Oh yeah, come on.
But I think that wraps it up for us tonight, guys. Frank, I had a great time as usual. We'll see if maybe we could squeeze in a pre-WrestleMania video, because I'm looking forward to seeing you again for WrestleMania. More than likely, we'll be watching it at Christian's house, who lives 10 minutes from my house, so you would travel the same distance. If anything, when you take the 79, you would probably get off one stop earlier than you get off for me. So
okay, yeah,
it would be. Chris doesn't mind you at all. You're a good guy. You're well mannered. Not like me. I fucking go crazy. But when I'm at somebody else's house, I'm a gentleman. But you have a good night, and I hope our viewers enjoyed the show. I know I always enjoy it whenever I'm on here with you, and we'll see you guys before WrestleMania. You guys, for Frank, for myself, take care, guys.